Minister of Local Government Simon Watts and Tiaki Wai boss Mike Brewster are among a group promoting and presiding over the new New Zealand limited company Tiaki Wai, assigned to handle drinking water, wastewater and stormwater services across metropolitan Wellington. They are an NZBN registered New Zealand limited company, just like Burger King are also a registered New Zealand limited company, as are Kentucky Fried Chicken, and so on. The difference is that Tiaki Wai are council controlled and technically not for profit, but structurally they are like a limited New Zealand company, albeit with the power to force you to pay. How would you feel if a McDonald's employee came over to your place and said, "Hey homie, it's Ronald from McDonald's. From now on, we've been contracted to service all your nutrition needs because we have purchased all available food production infrastructure that you paid for. You have to buy from us because we now own your access to food, and the government have given us the power to sue you if you do not comply. And every year, starting from this year, we're going to raise our food prices, but we're not promising better quality. In fact, it might get worse because we purchased our production infrastructure from your local council and it needs fixing. So in order to manage this, we will be installing a McDonald's consumption meter, one that you will also have to pay for inside your home." And Tiaki Wai, the new water service entity, is pretty much that, except we're not talking about a company that is actually putting a product together from source materials. We are talking about water, something that is provided by nature for free. In Tiaki Wai, we are talking about a company that has merely purchased service rights and water infrastructure that you own, by the way, from a city council that has mismanaged its own budgeting for decades, got itself into debt, and then sold that debt to Tiaki Wai, who now intend to borrow even more money than council did, recoup money back from you by installing water meters that you will be overcharged for by them onto your property, and then charging you for the water that you use under the guise of managing infrastructure limitations. And we're talking about the same public sector and local and central government who themselves are pushing for the expansion of AI data centres throughout the country that themselves consume millions upon millions of litres of water per day. So what's the reality here? Because on the one hand, data centres can't be built quickly enough, while on the other hand they're telling you that grandma's bathwater must be monitored so she doesn't threaten the water supply. For the amount of money they want to charge ratepayers per water meter per home, they could easily provide a rainwater storage tank and filters for each home at a cheaper cost while providing a level of water sovereignty to each household, but no. This is all about control and the financial rape of ratepayers. And then saying, "What the fuck are you going to do about it, bitches?" Or so it seems, from the eyes of ratepayers who see years of increasing water and rates charges ahead, which will, no doubt, force a number of homeowners to reverse mortgage and eventually sell their homes. Just weeks before the handover from local government to Tiaki Wai, only 1 in 6 ratepayers had a reasonable understanding of who Tiaki Wai were and what they actually did. This suggests that their promotion as water service provider happened via the way of closed-door agreements and the lack of genuine public participation. Tiaki Wai and councils have no clear timeline for infrastructure completion, just that the project will take decades and that they require more debt going ahead. No serious consideration of alternative solutions. No consideration for the financial implications of homeowners, and no formal agreements with the homeowners themselves to be taking the helm from the public-facing city council entities. For self-preservation, we are approaching the point where ratepayers en masse may have to consider: do we want to empower city councils to screw things up even more, or do we need to categorically tell them to fuck off? In 2023, Lisgun reported that all money councils borrow must be borrowed through the Local Government Funding Agency, another council-controlled private company that secures loans from overseas investors. But here's the thing. In order to secure a loan from the LGFA, each city council must sign a guarantee and indemnity document putting all ratepayers' properties with their rates revenues up for security against the debt. So in other words, if any local government debt in the future becomes unsustainable, or if a council defaults on its debt, then the overseas lenders who own the council's debt can extract what is owed by way of extortionist rate rises from all ratepayers, and if ratepayers cannot pay, then the bankers can sell or confiscate the ratepayers' properties to recover the debt. If all the lenders who are owed debt right now were to suddenly force New Zealand ratepayers to repay the debt that your local councils have created, there would be an immediate uprising right now. But with all these incremental rate and water rate rises, they are segmenting and slowing the process and making it a years-long bleed to death, meaning that the potential number of people to fight back against what the councils are doing also diminishes each year. In Tiaki Wai, your city council has bypassed the restrictions that the Local Government Act places on their ability to borrow debt, meaning that Tiaki Wai can borrow more than otherwise, hence exacerbating the problem. And council can borrow new debt, having sold their maxed out debt to Tiaki Wai, while your property remains collateral to both of them. But also, this is about the gradual privatisation of public essential services, as well as the expansion of government-level enforcement powers from themselves to local councils and now to private companies like Tiaki Wai and the LGFA. It is about who and what has control over your everyday life and who you are obligated to service debts for, because one day you may not have the financial buffer you have right now, and the people who could have fought side by side with you will be long gone, their properties sold and handed over to the very parasites who want you gone as well. The time to start fighting back is now. And fighting back right now for many of us may only mean getting our heads around the situation so that we can come to a mental space whereby we can make that commitment with conviction. An article written for The Listener by Daniel McLaughlin identifies decades of negligence, incompetence, and corruption by the Wellington City Council that has gotten us into the situation that we are in now. And now here they are, decades later, with the audacity to try to pin the debt of their previous sins onto you. And Tiaki Wai as a symbol of them wanting to move accountability away from themselves even more. Just because Tiaki Wai have started doesn't mean that they cannot be stopped. A Facebook group called Stop Tiaki Wai has been formed, and their goal is to build enough numbers so that collectively we can fight back, and they will be sharing the information that you need to know. Please join them.